God's chosen ones only. 1% will be called. This Sunday, you didn't click on this video. This video found you at 3:33 a.m., 11:11 p.m., or maybe right now as your coffee grows cold and your heart suddenly stops. Chosen one, do you feel it? That electric current running down your spine, that sudden awareness that someone or something is calling your name from beyond the veil. Stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you isn't meant for the 47 million people who will scroll past this moment. This isn't for the busy. This isn't for the distracted. This isn't for the masses who live on the surface of existence. This is a summoning, and summonses don't come to everyone. Why this Sunday, and why only 1% receive this sacred call? Listen, if your heart just skipped a beat when I said that, if something deep in your chest just whispered yes, then comment right now, I know I didn't see this video by accident. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. For the past 72 hours, the spiritual realm has been rearranging things, moving pieces, aligning frequencies, and your name, your actual name, has been spoken in rooms that exist between dimensions. This Sunday at exactly 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, a frequency will be released, a divine transmission that only pre-marked souls can receive, not through your ears, but through your spirit. You don't see this video. This video sees you at the right time, at the right frequency, and there are no coincidences here. Chosen one. No one sent this video to you. The spirit world arranged for you to encounter it at this exact moment. Don't miss it, because what you're about to hear is not for the masses. It is sent only for the pre-marked souls. This Sunday, there is a call. Not everyone will hear it. But if you're listening, if every word I'm speaking is landing in your chest like a key turning in a lock, then you may be one of the 1% who were called before the creation of the world. Stay with me until the end, because maybe, just maybe, this call is the turning point of your destiny. The summoning begins now. Why can you hear my voice trembling with ancient power, while millions scroll past in silence? Why does your chest tighten with recognition when others feel nothing at all? And why? Why do your hands shake as you hold this device, as if it's suddenly become a sacred instrument? Chosen one. There is a frequency, a divine transmission that has been broadcasting since the foundation of the world. But here's what the sleeping masses will never understand. Not everyone can hear it. You see, dear soul, the human ear can detect sounds between 20 and 20,000 hertz. But there's another spectrum, a spiritual frequency that operates beyond physical limitations. It resonates at the exact wavelength of your eternal soul. And right now, as you listen to these words, something inside you is vibrating, something is responding, something is saying, I know this voice. That's because you're not just anyone. While others live in the static of this world, while they're tuned into the noise of social media politics and endless distractions, you, chosen one, you carry a different energy code. You were born with spiritual receptors that most people don't even know exist. Listen to what Jesus revealed in Matthew 13:16. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. Did you catch that he didn't say all eyes or every ear? He said your eyes, your ears. Because even 2,000 years ago, Christ knew that spiritual sight and hearing would be reserved for a remnant. But here's what's breaking my heart. Every day, thousands of chosen souls walk around feeling isolated, feeling different, feeling like they don't quite fit into this world's rhythm. They sit in churches where the words feel hollow. They watch the news and feel a deep spiritual nausea. They look around and wonder, why do I feel so much when others feel so little? Dear chosen one, it's because you're a spiritual radio. Think about it. A radio sits silent until it's tuned to the right frequency. Switch to 101.1 FM and suddenly, music fills the room. But that music was always there, wasn't it? Invisible waves traveling through the air, waiting for the right receiver. That's exactly what you are. While others are tuned to the frequencies of fear, doubt, and worldly confusion, you've been calibrated to receive transmissions from another realm, from the throne room of the Most High God. And when you hear that frequency, when it resonates through your spirit, something ancient awakens, something that was planted in you before your first breath. Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born, I set you apart." Set you apart. Do you understand what that means before your parents even met? Before this nation was founded, before the stars were hung in their places, God looked across eternity and said, "This one, this soul will carry my frequency." That's why you're trembling right now. It's not the sound of my voice that's moving you. It's not the words on this screen that are causing your heart to race. It's your soul's memory being awakened. It's the recognition that you've been carrying a divine signal your entire life. But here's the urgent truth. This frequency is intensifying. Something is building in the spiritual realm, like a cosmic storm system gathering power. And this Sunday, this coming Sunday, the volume is going to increase. The clarity is going to sharpen. And those who are properly tuned will receive a transmission so clear, so undeniable that their entire destiny will shift. But those who aren't tuned in, they'll scroll past this video and feel nothing. They'll go about their Sunday routine and hear nothing. They'll live another week in spiritual static while heaven is literally broadcasting breakthrough instructions. Why do some people scroll through this video like it's empty noise, while you feel drawn to every single word? Because you're not operating on their frequency anymore. It's not your ears that are listening. It's your soul that is responding to the never-ending call from the light. 1 Corinthians 2:14 reveals, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness because they are discerned only through the Spirit." That's why this moment is so critical. You're not here by accident. Your soul picked up a signal. Your spirit responded to a frequency that's been calling your name across time and space. And now you're faced with a choice. Will you tune in deeper? Will you adjust your spiritual receivers? Will you prepare your heart for what's coming this Sunday? If you feel this frequency resonating in your chest, if every word I'm speaking is landing like a key, turning in an ancient lock, comment right now, "I'm tuning in," because you're not alone in this. Across America, across the world, others are hearing this same frequency. Others are feeling this same stirring. The 1% are awakening, but the transmission is just beginning. And what's coming next will determine everything. This Sunday is not like normal Sundays. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Every Sunday morning for the past how many years you wake up. You pour your coffee. Maybe you go to church. Maybe you watch the morning news. Maybe you call your grandchildren. Same routine, same rhythm, same ordinary Sunday, but not this one. You see, there's something the church doesn't tell you about Sundays. There's something your pastor never mentioned in all those years of sitting in those pews, nodding your head, singing the same hymns. Some Sundays are just days of rest, but some Sundays are days of divine intervention. And this Sunday, this is the kind that comes once in a generation, the kind that separates those who are spiritually awake from those who are sleepwalking through eternity. Think about it. How many Sundays have you lived? If you're 65, that's 3,180 Sundays. If you're 75, that's 3,900 Sundays, thousands upon thousands of ordinary days. But God only marks a few. In Ecclesiastes 3:1, Solomon wrote, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." This is that time, chosen one. Do you remember September 11th, 2001? That was a Tuesday. But it wasn't just another Tuesday, was it? That was the day history pivoted. That was the day ordinary became extraordinary in the worst way. Well, this Sunday is the opposite. This is the day history pivots toward the glory of God. This is the day the ordinary becomes extraordinary in the best way. This is the day that heaven has circled in red ink since before you took your first breath. But here's what breaks my heart. Most people will miss it completely. They'll wake up, they'll pour their coffee, they'll go through the motions. And while heaven is moving, while angels are positioning, while the very fabric of eternity is shifting, they'll be watching football, they'll be shopping, they'll be complaining about the weather, and they will miss the divine appointment that God scheduled specifically for them, but not you, dear one, not you. Because something in your spirit is already stirring, isn't it? Something deep down in your bones is saying, yes, something's different about this Sunday. If you feel it, if you sense it, if every word I'm speaking is resonating in your chest like a tuning fork, then type right now, "I feel it coming." Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. For the past month, there's been warfare in the heavenly places. Daniel 10:13 talks about this, how the prince of Persia withstood the angel for 21 days. Well, the battle is over, and heaven won. This Sunday at churches across America, people will sit in the same pews they've sat in for decades. They'll sing the same songs, they'll hear the same sermons. But the chosen ones, the marked ones, the 1%, they will feel the frequency change. They will sense the atmosphere shift. They will know, without a shadow of a doubt, that this is not just another Sunday. You know what scares me the most about growing older in America today? It's not the aches and pains. It's not the medications or the doctor visits. It's the possibility of missing God's final call. You've lived through the Great Depression. You've seen World War II. You've watched America change. You've buried friends. You've raised children. You've seen miracles and heartbreaks. But what if the greatest moment of your entire life is this Sunday? What if all those years, all those prayers, all those nights you cried out to God asking, "When, Lord? When will you move in my life?" What if the answer is this Sunday? In Matthew 24:36, Jesus said, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only." He was talking about his second coming. But beloved, there are smaller comings that happen throughout history. Moments when heaven invades earth. Moments when the supernatural breaks into the natural. And this Sunday is one of those moments. You never know, chosen one. This Sunday was written in your sacred diary before you were born, before your first heartbeat, before your first breath, before your mother ever dreamed you into existence. God looked at the calendar of eternity and marked this Sunday for you. But here's what you need to understand about divine appointments. They require preparation, they require readiness, and most importantly, they require you to know the signs that heaven is about to move. In the sacred mist of eternity, a list is being opened, not with pen, not with paper, not with the tools of this world, but with light, pure burning light that cuts through dimensions and speaks names that were written before time began. Dear one, can you feel it? Right now, as I speak these words, the atmosphere around you is charged with something ancient, something holy, something that your grandmother's grandmother would have recognized, because this is how God has always called his people, by name. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you will either awaken something dormant in your soul, or it will bounce off you like rain on concrete. In Revelation 3:5, Jesus himself declared, He who overcomes will be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life. The book of life. Not everyone understands what that means. They think it's just beautiful religious language, poetry, metaphor. But you know better, don't you? Because deep in your spirit you remember the moment. Maybe you were 7 years old, maybe 17, maybe 70, when God first whispered your name. When something inside you knew you were different, set apart, called, and that knowing has never left you. Here's what's happening right now in the invisible realm. That same book, that same scroll of light is being unfurled, and the angel of the Lord is running his finger down the names of those who still carry the original commitment vibration. What do I mean by that? I mean the souls who still feel that stirring when they hear his voice, the ones who still get tears in their eyes during worship, the ones who still believe in miracles even when their 401k is shrinking and their bodies are failing, the ones who still say, "Yes, Lord," even when it costs them something. Listen. In Matthew 22:14, Jesus said something that should shake every believer to their core. Many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. Do you understand what that means? It means there's a difference between hearing the call and being selected for the mission. There's a difference between attending church and being commissioned by heaven. And this Sunday, at exactly 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, the choosing begins. But here's what breaks my heart. I see so many of God's people living like spiritual sleepwalkers, going through the motions, saying the right words, but their fire has dimmed to barely glowing embers. When was the last time you felt God move through you? When was the last time you experienced the supernatural? When was the last time you knew beyond any doubt that heaven was paying attention to your life? If you can't answer those questions, then maybe, just maybe, this video found you because it's time to remember who you are. Because right now in the sacred mist where eternal decisions are made, I see the scroll opening. I see names glowing like stars, not the names of the perfect, but the names of the obedient. Not the names of those who never fell, but the names of those who got back up. Not the names of those who never doubted, but the names of those who chose faith anyway. Is your name on it? Type right now. If my name is called, I will be ready. Type it if you feel in your bones that you are not here by chance. Type it if something in your spirit just said yes when I asked that question. Because here's the truth that will determine your eternal significance. Isaiah 43:1 declares, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." By name. Not by your social security number. Not by your address. Not by your age or your bank account or your zip code. By your name. And when God calls you by name, when your name appears on that scroll of light, it's not because you earned it. It's because somewhere, somehow, your heart stayed soft toward him. But here's what terrifies me. Some people will watch this video and forget it in 5 minutes. They'll scroll to the next distraction, the next entertainment, the next meaningless moment. But some people will watch this and be forever awakened. The question is, which one are you? Because even now, even as I speak, I can sense the spiritual atmosphere shifting. Can you feel it, that electricity in the air, that sense that something ancient and powerful is stirring? That's not your imagination. That's the sound of your name, echoing through eternity, waiting for your response. Will you answer? Chosen one. Let me tell you something nobody else will say out loud. Being chosen isn't a blessing most days. It's a burden that burns in your chest at 2 a.m. when you're lying awake wondering why you can't just fit in. Why you can't just smile and nod when everyone else is celebrating things that make your spirit scream. You've felt it, haven't you? that crushing weight of being different, not weird different, not quirky different, spiritually different, like you're carrying something inside you that the world can see and fears. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. You weren't rejected because you were wrong. You were pushed away because you carried something the world couldn't control. Light. And light exposes everything. I've walked with chosen ones for 20 years. I've seen the pattern. I've watched the same story play out in conference rooms in Manhattan, in nursing homes in Ohio, in church pews across America. The signs are always the same. Sign number 1. You've been betrayed by people you trusted most. Not once, multiple times. And each time you asked yourself, what's wrong with me? Nothing was wrong with you. Jesus said in John 15:18, if the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. Think about that. The Son of God was hated, not because he was evil, because he was too pure for a corrupted system. Sign number 2. You see things others don't see. You walk into a room and you feel the spiritual temperature. You know when someone's lying before they finish their sentence. You sense danger, opportunity, destiny before it manifests. And people call you intense. Sign number 3. You've been through seasons of isolation that nearly broke you. Not chosen isolation, forced isolation, where friends disappeared, where family members avoided you, where even your own church made you feel like an outsider. Why were you separated? Because God was preparing you. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he could lead Israel out of Egypt. David was hunted by King Saul for years before he could claim his throne. Jesus fasted 40 days in the desert before he began his ministry. The separation wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Sign number 4. You've experienced supernatural attacks on your peace, your health, your finances, right before major breakthroughs. It's like the enemy knows something's coming and tries to take you out before you reach your destiny. If you've been there, if you've felt the weight of being misunderstood, rejected, spiritually attacked, write in the comments right now, I understand why I was separated. Because here's what I need you to understand. That wound you carry, that scar from being different, that pain from being rejected, that's not a curse, that's your confirmation. You think it's coincidence that every prophet in the Bible was rejected by their own people, that every chosen vessel went through a season of being misunderstood. Jeremiah was thrown in a pit. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers. Daniel was thrown to the lions. Paul was beaten and imprisoned. The pattern is always the same. The very thing that made you feel broken is actually the thing that marks you as chosen, your sensitivity to spiritual things. That's your gift, your inability to compromise with darkness. That's your calling, your seasons of loneliness. That's where God downloaded your assignment. And right now, this Sunday, something is shifting. The same spiritual realm that marked you for separation is now marking you for elevation. But you have to understand something crucial. Not everyone who calls themselves chosen will actually answer the call, because what's coming this Sunday requires a level of surrender that most people aren't willing to make. Are you ready to discover what that surrender actually costs? The reason why only 1% can hear this call. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being different, weathered, worn, refined by fire. Listen carefully. The majority of people walk through life with their spiritual ears plugged. They hear the noise of the world, but they've lost the ability to hear the whisper of eternity. But you, if you've ever felt like you don't quite fit anywhere, if you've ever sensed there was something more calling you, if you've ever looked around a crowded room and felt completely alone, then you might be part of the 1%. type right now, I am the 1%. If you feel this before you even finish this video, here's what the Bible doesn't tell you in Sunday school. In Matthew 22:14, Jesus said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." But what he didn't explain is why only a few can actually hear the call. It's because of the refinement process. You see, the 1% aren't the people who had easy lives. They're not the ones who sailed through on calm waters. No, the 1% are the ones who've been tumbled like rocks in a riverbed for decades, worn smooth by disappointment, polished by betrayal, shaped by storms that should have destroyed them. If you've buried more dreams than you can count, if you've trusted the wrong people more times than you care to remember, if you've wondered why God allowed certain heartbreaks to almost kill you, then your spiritual ears have been trained. Listen to me carefully. The people who live comfortable, unchallenged lives, their spirits sleep. They can't distinguish between God's voice and the wind. But you who've been through the fire, you recognize the sound of the divine because you've learned to listen in the darkness. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, says Jeremiah 1:5. But here's the shocking truth. God didn't just know you. He marked you for suffering, for isolation, for preparation. Every time you felt rejected by the crowd, that wasn't punishment. That was protection. God was keeping you separate because he was tuning your frequency to match heaven's. Are you in that 1% group, but have never been called by your right soul name in your whole life? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. You don't fit in with the crowd because you were never meant to fit in. While they're obsessed with their 401k plans and weekend barbecues, something deeper stirs in you. While they sleep soundly at night, you lie awake sensing that the veil between worlds is paper thin. That restlessness you feel, that's not anxiety. That's your spirit recognizing its true home. The 1% isn't about arrogance. It's about tuning. It's about awakening. It's about being able to hear the silent call of your soul. And if you're feeling that vibration right now, if every word I'm speaking is landing in your chest like a hammer on an anvil, you're probably one of the very few who's still tuned in. Here's what happens to the 1%. They stop trying to explain themselves to people who speak a different spiritual language. They stop apologizing for being too intense or too deep. They stop pretending that small talk feeds their soul, and they start recognizing other frequency holders. But here's the dangerous part. If you're part of the 1% and you ignore this Sunday's call, if you let the noise of ordinary life drown out this frequency, you might not get another chance like this for years, maybe decades, because the 1% aren't just randomly selected. They're specifically prepared. And once you're prepared, once your spiritual ears are trained, the universe expects you to respond when heaven calls. So I'm asking you directly, have you been feeling like an outsider your entire life because you actually are one? Have the deepest conversations you've ever had been with God in the middle of the night when everyone else was asleep? Do you sometimes know things before they happen, feel things before others feel them, sense shifts in the spiritual atmosphere that others can't even perceive? Then this Sunday isn't just another day for you. It's a divine appointment that's been scheduled since before time began. But knowing you're part of the 1% is only the beginning. Because what God is about to release this Sunday will separate even the 1% from each other. And the question becomes, are you ready for what happens when heaven finally calls your real name? You've always known it, but you don't know why. That restless feeling, that's been your companion for 70, 80 years. That sense of being a stranger in your own life. That quiet voice that whispers in church pews and kitchen prayers. There's something more. You've felt it, haven't you? Even as a child, sitting in Sunday school, while other kids colored their Jesus pictures, you stared out the window, not bored, not distracted, but listening. listening to something they couldn't hear, that feeling of not belonging. Is it because you belong to a world that calls your name? Listen to me carefully. This isn't the first time you've heard this message. It's just that today, it sounds a little louder. Today, heaven turned up the volume. Since childhood, you've known you were different, but no one confirmed it. Today, heaven confirms it. You remember, don't you, those nights when you were 8 years old, lying in bed, talking to God like he was sitting right there, and sometimes it felt like he was talking back. Your mother called it imagination, your father called it childish, but you knew it was real. If you've ever had that feeling and can't explain it, type right now, I've always known. Because here's what nobody told you about that feeling. It wasn't just childhood wonder. It wasn't just an overactive imagination. That was your spirit recognizing, remembering something from before this world began. Jeremiah 1:5 says it plainly, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart." Set you apart. Do you understand what that means? Before your first breath, before your first heartbeat, before your mother even knew she was carrying you, God marked you. And you felt that mark your entire life. It's why you never quite fit in at family dinners, why you pray different, why you see things others miss, why you've always felt like you were waiting for something you couldn't name. Remember when you were in your 30s, 40s, and everyone around you seemed so certain about their path, their careers, their goals, their 5-year plans. But you kept feeling like you were supposed to be doing something else, something bigger, something that mattered in a way that transcended paychecks and retirement plans. They called you impractical. They called you a dreamer. They called you unrealistic, but God called you chosen. Ephesians 1:4 declares, He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. Before the creation of the world. Do you realize what this means? While God was designing mountains and painting sunsets, while He was placing stars and mapping galaxies, He was thinking about you. Your name was on His lips before Adam took his first breath. And that restless feeling, that sense of not belonging, it's not a flaw, it's not depression, it's not loneliness, it's homesickness. Your spirit remembers a conversation you had with the Almighty before time began, a conversation where He looked into your eyes and said, I have something special for you to do, something only you can accomplish. And you said yes. But here's what happens in this broken world. The noise gets louder. The distractions multiply. The voices of doubt, fear, and practical wisdom drown out that holy frequency until moments like this, moments when heaven cuts through the static, when the Spirit of God finds you scrolling through videos at 2 a.m., when a divine appointment disguised as a YouTube suggestion appears on your screen. This is that moment. You're not watching this by accident. You're not here because of an algorithm. You're here because it's time. Time to stop questioning that feeling. Time to stop apologizing for being different. Time to stop hiding that light under a bushel of self-doubt. You're not crazy. You're not delusional. You're not imagining things. You're just remembering something. So real, so sacred, so long ago. And this Sunday, this specific Sunday that's been marked in heaven's calendar since before you were born. That conversation you had with God is about to be renewed. The question is no longer, why me? The question is, will you answer when He calls? But before you can answer, before you can step into what's been prepared for you, there's something you need to understand about timing, about why it's taken this long, about why now is your moment. Because what heaven has been preparing isn't just a blessing, it's a commissioning. Chosen one. What I'm about to tell you will shake you to your core, because right now, at this very moment, there's a door standing ajar in the spiritual realm. and it's only open for 72 hours. Listen to me carefully. In Revelation 3:8, Jesus said, "Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it." But here's what most people miss. He never said it would stay open forever. Why do you think you're watching this right now, at this exact hour, on this exact day, when 847 million other videos are competing for your attention? You think that's coincidence? No, this is divine orchestration, and you're standing at the threshold of something that happens only once in a generation. But here's the terrifying truth. Not all doors open again. There are doors in the spirit realm that swing wide for just a moment, like lightning illuminating the darkness, and then they close forever. Think about Noah. Genesis 7:16 says, "The Lord shut him in. One door, one moment, one chance." And when that door closed, it didn't open again for 371 days. How many people stood outside that door, pounding, screaming, begging for just one more chance? Dear friend, right now as I speak these words, there's a spiritual countdown happening in the heavenly realm. And if you feel that electric current in your chest, if something inside you is saying this is it, you're standing before that door. But it doesn't wait long. The spirit world doesn't wait for those who hesitate. It doesn't pause for the comfortable. It doesn't hold the door for the unprepared. In Matthew 25, 10 virgins waited for the bridegroom. 5 were ready, 5 were not. And when the bridegroom came, when that door opened for just a moment, only 5 entered. The other 5, they knocked and pleaded, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But the door had already closed. Verse 12 records the most chilling words in Scripture. "Assuredly I say to you, I do not know you, chosen one." I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to save you from the agony of regret, from the torment of knowing you were right there. You felt the call. You heard the knock. But you waited. You waited for a more convenient time. You waited for more proof. You waited for someone else to go first. And the door closed. Here's what's happening right now. There's a moment of intersection when heaven and earth open together, like a solar eclipse, like the exact moment when day becomes night. It happens once and then it's gone. And if you feel this burning in your chest, you're standing before that door. But listen to me. This isn't about Sunday service. This isn't about religious routine. This is about a divine appointment that was scheduled before you were born. In Jeremiah 1:5, God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you." That means your name, your actual name, was written in heaven's appointment book before the first star was hung in place. And this Sunday, this specific Sunday, is your appointment. But here's the part that will shock you. Only 1% will actually walk through. Not because God doesn't call everyone, not because the door isn't wide enough, but because 99% will hesitate. 99% will say, "Let me think about it." 99% will say, "Maybe next time." There is no next time for this door. In 2 Corinthians 6:2, Paul declares, "Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Not tomorrow, not next week, now." If something inside you is trembling right now, if every word I'm speaking is landing in your spirit like a hammer on an anvil, then comment immediately, "I pass through," because the door you're looking at, the opportunity that's calling your name, the breakthrough that's been prepared specifically for your bloodline, it will not wait. And when this door closes, what you're about to miss will echo through eternity. But if you choose to step through, if you choose not to miss the moment prepared for your soul, everything changes, everything shifts, and you'll look back on this moment as the day your real life began. The countdown has already started. Chosen one, What I'm about to tell you will shake you to your core, and it needs to, because in the next 72 hours, some of you listening right now will make a choice that determines whether you hear from heaven again or whether the silence becomes permanent. Not every call is repeated. Let that sink deep into your spirit. There are souls walking this earth right now who once felt the stirring you're feeling. They once had their hearts race when heaven whispered their name. They once knew, beyond any doubt, that something sacred was calling them. But they hesitated. They said, maybe next time. They said, I'm not ready. They said, let me think about it. And then, silence, not because the sky stopped speaking, but because they stopped answering. You see, dear soul, heaven is not a place of repetition. It is a place for those who are ready to enter when called. And when the Almighty extends His hand, when He opens a door that no man can shut, there is a window of time, a sacred moment, a divine appointment. Miss it, and you may never see that door again. Jesus Himself warned us in Revelation 13:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. But notice what He didn't say. He didn't say, I'll keep knocking forever. He didn't promise to wait indefinitely while you decide if you're worthy. When Jesus knocks, it's now or never. And right now, He's knocking. You felt it when you clicked on this video. That electric current, that sudden awareness, that voice inside saying, this is it, this is your moment. But I can feel some of you pulling back. You're thinking, I'm too old, I'm too broken. Surely God has better candidates. Maybe I'll respond next Sunday, or next month, or next year. Stop right there. Do you remember the parable of the wedding feast in Matthew 22? The king sent out invitations. Some were too busy. Some had excuses. Some said later. And what happened to them? The door was shut. The feast began without them. And when they finally showed up, when they finally decided they were ready, the king said, I do not know you. The train is leaving the station, chosen one. And once it's gone, once this divine window closes, you don't get to stand on the platform hoping for another locomotive. You don't get to wave at the conductor and ask, when's the next one? In the spiritual realm, there is no next one. I'm talking to the 73-year-old grandmother in Milwaukee who's been feeling restless for months. I'm speaking to the 68-year-old retired teacher in Phoenix who keeps waking up at 3:17 a.m. with tears in her eyes. I'm calling out to the 81-year-old widower in Jacksonville who's been sensing something but can't put it into words. This is your moment. Right now, comment, I answer. If you don't want to be the one left in silence, don't hesitate, don't overthink it. Don't let fear rob you of your divine destiny, because here's what they don't tell you about spiritual delay. Every time you ignore heaven's call, your spiritual ears become duller. Every time you say, not now, the voice becomes fainter. Every time you choose comfort over calling, you build a wall between your soul and the sacred. It's not that God stops loving you, it's that you stop hearing Him. 1 Samuel 3 tells us about young Samuel. God called him once, twice, 3 times. But what if Samuel had rolled over and gone back to sleep? What if he'd said, I'll listen tomorrow? We'd never have heard of Samuel again, because heaven's invitations come with expiration dates. Divine appointments have specific times, and when the Almighty says, this Sunday, He means this Sunday. Will you board that train? Or stand outside and hope for another call? Because I need you to understand something that will change everything about how you see this moment. What's happening this Sunday isn't just about you receiving a blessing. It's about you stepping into an identity that's been waiting for you since before the foundation of the world. An identity that once activated will never, ever be the same. But first, you have to answer. The clock is ticking, chosen one. Chosen one. You didn't see this video in your free time. You saw it at the exact moment your frequency matched the summoning command. And when this match happened, destiny could no longer keep you at the old level. Listen carefully. For 70 years, maybe 80, you've been walking through life feeling like something was missing. Like there was a conversation happening in a room you couldn't quite enter. Like everyone else got the memo, but yours was lost in the mail. But what if I told you that feeling wasn't emptiness? It was preparation. What if I told you that every unanswered prayer, every delayed breakthrough, every moment you felt forgotten by God was actually heaven fine-tuning your spiritual antenna? Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Your season is now. You see, dear one, most people live their entire lives on spiritual autopilot. They pray the same prayers, attend the same services, hope for the same miracles, but they never align with divine timing. But you've been calibrated for this exact moment. Think about it. Haven't you noticed the signs? The way you've been waking up at 3:33 a.m. recently. The way certain Bible verses seem to jump off the page and pierce your heart. The way you've been feeling restless, like something's about to shift. That's not anxiety, chosen one. That's activation. Your spiritual DNA is recognizing its matching frequency. For decades, you've been like a radio scanning through static, searching for the right station, and suddenly, the signal comes in crystal clear. That signal is this moment, right here, right now. Have you ever wondered, why now? Why not when you were 20? Why not when you were 40? Why not when life was easier? Because at 20, you hadn't been broken enough to be rebuilt. At 40, you hadn't surrendered enough to be trusted. But now you've been seasoned by suffering, refined by rejection, purified by waiting. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40:31. You've done the waiting, beloved. Now comes the mounting up. Listen to me carefully. The same God who parted the Red Sea at the exact moment Moses lifted his staff. The same God who opened prison doors at midnight for Paul and Silas. The same God who called Samuel by name in the temple. That same God is calling your name this Sunday. Not everyone will hear it, not because God plays favorites, but because not everyone has been tuned to the right frequency. But you have been. Every trial prepared you. Every disappointment positioned you. Every tear was a tuning fork adjusting your spiritual sensitivity. Do you feel it right now, that electricity in your chest, that knowing in your spirit that says, this is it, this is my moment? If you feel this frequency match in every cell of your soul, type, I am ready, because when you type those words, you're not just commenting on a video, you're signing a cosmic contract. You're saying to heaven, I'm aligned, I'm available, I'm activated. You see, chosen one, there's a divine clock ticking in the spiritual realm. And for the past 2,000 years, it's been counting down to this generation, your generation, the generation that would live to see the final outpouring. And you are the last piece of the puzzle falling into place. Think of it like this. Your soul has a unique DNA code, a frequency signature that's been written in heaven's database since before the foundation of the world. And this Sunday, at the exact moment of divine release, heaven's scanner is going to sweep across the earth. And when it finds your frequency, when your spiritual DNA matches the call, the door of heaven opens. When soul meets destiny, meets time, meets calling, that is the moment everything changes. That is the moment you stop being a seeker and become a finder. That is the moment you stop being a beggar and become an heir. That is the moment you stop being forgotten and become chosen. The frequency is matching beloved. Can you feel it? Can you sense the cosmic tumblers falling into place? Because what happens next will determine not just your destiny, but the destiny of everyone connected to your bloodline. The summoning isn't just personal chosen one, it's generational. The heavenly loop is about to close. There is only one door left. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will either set you free forever or leave you spinning in the same painful circle for another decade. Every soul has a loop, and you've been trapped in yours for far too long. The same struggles, the same disappointments, the same midnight prayers asking God, when will my breakthrough come? The same financial worries that keep you awake at 2 a.m., the same health concerns that whisper fear into your chest, the same family relationships that drain your peace. Round and round and round. How many times have you been here before? How many Sundays have you sat in that same chair, watching the same programs, eating the same meals, carrying the same burdens, wondering if this is all there is? Jesus said in Revelation 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him, and he with me." But here's what they don't tell you. That door, it doesn't stay open forever. Every loop has an exit point, and you've missed it before, not because you weren't chosen, not because God forgot about you, but because when the door appeared, you hesitated, you second-guessed, you thought, maybe next time will be better. But what if there is no next time? What if this Sunday, this very moment, is your final exit from the maze that has held you captive? Think about it, dear soul. How many more winters can your heart endure? How many more nights can you lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering if your prayers are just bouncing off the walls? How many more mornings can you wake up and pretend that the ache in your chest isn't growing deeper? The Israelites wandered in circles for 40 years. 40 years in a desert that should have taken 11 days to cross. Why? Because every time God opened a door to the promised land, they chose fear over faith. They chose the familiar suffering over the unknown blessing. Don't let that be your story. God does not force you. He never has. He never will. Free will is the most sacred gift He gave humanity. But listen to me. If you step through this door now, if you choose to break the cycle this Sunday, the open door will lead you to a place of no return. No return to the old pain. No return to the old patterns. No return to the old you. Because here's what happens when chosen ones finally step out of their loops. The universe itself begins to rearrange. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly appear. People who could help you mysteriously enter your life. Resources you never knew existed start flowing in your direction. It's not magic, it's divine order, but you have to choose, right now, in this moment. Are you going to keep riding the same merry-go-round of mediocrity? Are you going to let another Sunday pass while you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow? Or are you going to step into the door that's been waiting for you? Because I need you to understand something. This isn't just about you anymore. Your breakthrough isn't just for you. There are people in your family line, people in your community, people you haven't even met yet, who are waiting for you to step into your destiny. Your healing becomes their hope. Your breakthrough becomes their blueprint. Your victory becomes their vision. Matthew 7:7 promises us, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. But you have to knock. You have to choose. If you're ready, if you're tired of the loop, if you're done with the cycle of almost but not quite, then comment right now, I choose my door. Because this is it, chosen one. This Sunday isn't just another day. It's the day the heavenly loop closes. It's the day the final door either opens or seals shut. Don't wait for another cycle of pain. Don't turn back. Don't let fear rob you of your final exit. This is the opportunity you've been silently praying for in the dark hours of the night. The breakthrough you've been whispering to God when no one else could hear. It's open, just once. Will you step through, or will you spin forever? The choice is yours, but choose quickly, because the door is already beginning to close. Here's what they never told you about being called by God. You think this moment, this divine appointment, this Sunday summons, is about you being blessed. It's not. You are not just called. You are the call itself, walking in human flesh. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will shatter every small, comfortable box you've put your calling in. Somewhere in Brooklyn tonight, an 82-year-old widow is staring at her ceiling, wondering if God forgot her name. In Queens, a grandfather is sitting in his recliner watching the news, feeling like the world has gone completely insane, and wondering if there's any hope left. In the Bronx, a grandmother is praying desperately for her grandson who's lost in addiction, and she's about to give up. They are waiting for you, not waiting for a miracle from heaven. They're waiting for you to become the miracle God sends, because here's the truth that will rock your world. Heaven doesn't call you just to let you know you're special. They call you because someone else needs you. You see, when Moses heard the burning bush, it wasn't just about Moses getting a spiritual experience. It was about the 2 million Israelites crying out in Egyptian bondage who needed someone to hear God's voice and then go. When Samuel heard Samuel, Samuel in the night, it wasn't just about young Samuel getting a divine encounter. It was about a nation that needed a prophet who would dare to speak God's word. And you are not just the receiver of this call, you are the call. Let that sink in for a moment. You think you clicked on this video because you were searching for encouragement. But the deeper truth is, this video found you because there's a soul out there, lost in confusion, drowning in anxiety, suffocating in despair, waiting for you to open your mouth, waiting for you to dare to speak, to dare to live up to your calling. Isaiah 6:8 says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?'" But here's what most people miss. God wasn't asking because he didn't know who to send. He was asking because someone needed to volunteer to be the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. Chosen one, who is waiting for you to wake them up. Your neighbor who hasn't spoken to anyone in 3 days. Your old friend from church who stopped coming because life got too heavy. That person you keep thinking about but never call. Stop making this about you being comfortable. Jesus didn't say, "Come unto me, all who are blessed and highly favored." He said, "Come unto me, all who are weary and heavy laden." Matthew 11:28. And if you're hearing this call, if every word I'm speaking is hitting your chest like a hammer on an anvil, it's because you are the one God is sending to the weary and heavy laden. You are not just the ringer. You are the ring that is being sent. Let me ask you something that will change everything. How many people are going to go to bed tonight hopeless because you were too afraid to step into your calling? How many marriages will fail this week because you didn't have the courage to speak life into that couple you know is struggling? How many young people will make devastating decisions because you didn't dare to be the voice of wisdom God called you to be? 2 Timothy 1:6 says, "Fan into flame the gift of God which is in you." Not for your own warmth, but because someone is freezing to death spiritually and they need the fire that's in you. This Sunday isn't just about you receiving a call from heaven. This Sunday is about you becoming the call that heaven sends to others. If you know you are not only called, but must also go and wake others up. Comment right now, "I am the bell of my generation," because listen to me. You may think today that you are chosen because you are loved, but the deeper truth is, You are chosen because someone is waiting for you to wake them up. And you are that calling in human form. Share this video right now with someone whose soul you know is also marked. This call is not just for you, it is coming through you, to them. Because the question isn't whether you're called anymore. The question is, who are you going to call chosen one? If you've stayed with me until this moment, if every word has been landing in your heart like seeds in fertile soil, then you already know this isn't just another video you stumbled across. This has been a divine appointment. Let me remind you of what we've discovered together today. You didn't find this message by accident. You were called here because there's something stirring in the heavenly realm, with your name written all over it. This Sunday isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a sacred threshold, a moment when heaven leans in and whispers your name. But more than that, you're not just someone who receives the call. You are the call. You're the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. You're the light that someone in darkness is waiting to see. And I need you to know something that your heart desperately needs to hear. You are not alone. Not in this calling, not in this season, not in whatever you're walking through right now. God is still working in your life, even when you can't see it, even when it feels quiet, even when the nights are long and the mornings feel heavy. He hasn't forgotten your address. He hasn't lost track of your tears. He hasn't misplaced your prayers. And right here, in this community, you have thousands of brothers and sisters who understand exactly what you're feeling. People who've walked through their own valleys. People who know what it's like to wait for God's timing. People ready to pray with you, encourage you, and remind you that your story isn't over. So let me ask you this final question, and I want you to really sit with this. If God has been preparing you through every season of waiting, every moment of silence, every test of faith, what if this Sunday is just the beginning? What if the very thing that's about to shift in your life isn't just for you, but through you, to touch a generation? Let's pray together. Whether you're watching this at 2 a.m. in your living room, or Sunday morning with your coffee, or any moment in between, join me in this sacred space. Heavenly Father, I place my hand on the shoulder of every precious soul who has walked with us through this message. Lord, you see them. You know their names. You know their struggles, their fears, their secret hopes that they've almost stopped believing in. Father, for every grandmother watching this who wonders if her prayers for her family will ever be answered, I ask you to breathe fresh faith into her heart. Remind her that her intercession has been moving mountains she can't even see. For every grandfather who feels like the world has passed him by, Lord, show him that his wisdom, his experience, his faithful heart is exactly what this generation needs. You're not done with his story yet. God, for those who are battling loneliness tonight, surround them with your presence. Let them feel your arms around them like a warm blanket. Remind them that they are seen, they are known, they are deeply loved. Father, bless their health, strengthen their bodies, bring healing where there is pain, bring peace where there is anxiety, bring hope where there has been disappointment. And Lord, as this Sunday approaches, let them feel the shift. Let them sense your movement. Open doors that need to be opened. Close doors that need to be closed. Align their steps with your perfect will. Most of all, Father, use them. Make them the answer to someone else's prayer. Let their voice be your voice. Let their love be your love. Let their story become a testimony that sets others free. We thank you that you're not done writing their chapter. We thank you that the best is yet to come. We thank you that this Sunday, something beautiful begins. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Listen to me, friend. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below and let us know. Tell us how God is moving in your life. Share your prayer requests. This community is here for you. And please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. That friend who's been struggling, that family member who's lost hope, that neighbor who needs to know they're not forgotten. Be the messenger God uses to reach them. Thank you for giving me these precious minutes of your time. Thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for being part of this sacred moment. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because we're going to continue walking this journey of faith together. You belong here. Until we meet again, remember who you are. Remember whose you are. And remember, your Sunday is coming. God bless you, chosen one. Loved. Father, bless their health. Strengthen their bodies. Bring healing where there is pain. Bring peace where there is anxiety. Bring hope where there has been disappointment. And Lord, as this Sunday approaches, let them feel the shift. Let them sense your movement. Open doors that need to be opened. Close doors that need to be closed. Align their steps with your perfect will. Most of all, Father, use them. Make them the answer to someone else's prayer. Let their voice be your voice. Let their love be your love. Let their story become a testimony that sets others free. We thank you that you're not done writing their chapter. We thank you that the best is yet to come. We thank you that this Sunday, something beautiful begins. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Listen to me, friend. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below and let us know. Tell us how God is moving in your life. Share your prayer requests. This community is here for you. And please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. That friend who's been struggling, that family member who's lost hope, that neighbor who needs to know they're not forgotten. Be the messenger God uses to reach them. Thank you for giving me these precious minutes of your time. Thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for being part of this sacred moment. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because we're going to continue walking this journey of faith together. You belong here. Until we meet again, remember who you are. Remember whose you are. And remember, your Sunday is coming. God bless you, chosen one.